Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Death and Horror Incorporated. It was written by Stuart Boon, and it is from a collection called Cthulhu Britannica, Shadows of Scotland. Our keeper of arcane lore is Joseph Clay, and this is episode 1. But before we begin, we have 2 new patrons. Chance Wooten has pledged $5 a month to our club, and Martin Cass has pledged $1 a month. Thank you so much, Chance and Martin. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Joe?
Thank you, Tom. The date is October 12th, 1923. You arrive in the city of Glasgow, and no matter if you arrive by steamer or train or by cab, you're caught in a dreary downpour. As you make your way into the city chambers, you walk on rain-soaked gray cobbles and see tall granite and sandstone buildings reach up like walls of a fortress. As you look around, the citizens walk by quickly through the gloom and pushing against the rain. They don't look at you or one another, and they just pass by mutely. You also see gaunt children sitting on the worn steps of shuttered buildings, reaching out their hands in hopes of a copper or two. As you take in your surroundings, it seems that as if every other business is closed or boarded up. For those of you old enough to remember, the city was not always like this. During the height of the British Empire and in the Industrial Revolution, Glasgow was heralded as the second city of Great Britain, competing with London in wealth and prosperity. Now, the only wealth you can see is hidden behind exclusive cafes and expensive motor cars navigating through the city. You arrive at St. George's Square, as the letter requested, and you see the elegant and monolithic city chamber standing over the square. Walking through the grand entryway, you're greeted by the welcoming warmth and a soft electric glow. In front of you sit 2 smiling receptionists who greet you and instruct you to have a seat in a ring of couches on the west end of the room. And they tell you, Mr. Cadden, he's slightly behind schedule today. Just wait over there and we will collect you when he's ready for you. It's here you all meet as Hugh Cadden finishes up with his other meeting. So as you sit down, you take a look at those who've been collected around you. And if you'd like to go around and introduce yourselves.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Canmore. I'm a medical examiner. Did you all receive the same letter that I did? I wasn't aware.
I believe that's why we're all here.
That's an odd thing to be suddenly just contacted and brought together. And your name was?
They contacted you because your name's Canmore, not Canless.
I see you have a sense of humor. That may be problematic, but and your name?
I'm Elis Bowen, Detective Elis Bowen.
It's very nice to meet you, Mr. Bowen.
I suppose they've called for 2 detectives then, Elaine Horowitz.
Oh, nice to meet you, madam. And you, gentlemen?
Name's Eugene. I'm just a good old police officer.
I take it you're not from around here, Eugene. I don't know that I recognize your face.
No, I'm from Birmingham.
I'm afraid then I might be the only native if I'm looking around correctly. It's, sorry, my name is Walter. Officer Webster?
Where are you from, Officer Webster? You said you're native?
Yes, right here in Glasgow. Beautiful, beautiful Glasgow.
Nice to meet you.
It's a
have
pleasure.
Officer Collins from Birmingham. What about you, Ms. Horowitz?
London. Yourself?
I'm Cardiff.
In Edinburgh.
A little bit of everywhere then.
They said something about some rather gruesome murders or some such, and we seem the only ones qualified.
Doesn't
Makes you
speak
wonder.
very well for your group then there, Mr. Webster.
Well, there's only so much that the city can provide in such a time. I'm just glad to be in your such prestigious company to bring people in. It's not every day you get a letter from the Lord Provost, or at least a secretary.
Yes.
Well, I would feel more comfortable if you had a little more self-confidence there, son. Modesty is not very fitting, I find.
So, as you guys are discussing the letter, Walter, you recently got the letter because, like we discussed, you're newer to the police force, but even though you're new, you have for the past 10 months you've been running ragged all across this city. All of you, after this letter, or even before the letter, you've seen in the newspapers about these murders that are occurring in Glasgow. When they initially started happening, it did make the news in London and places like that. But things like that, after a while, they kind of just fade into page 6. So for a while, you thought that it was all over and it was handled until you received that letter. So you take a look back at the letter, and I want to have someone read that if someone wants to volunteer.
The office of the Lord Provost, Mr. Hugh Cadden, Private Secretary to the Right Honourable Lord Provost of Glasgow, City Chambers, George Square, Glasgow. Dear sirs, and madam, of course, I write to you on behalf of the Lord Provost and the Corporation of the City of Glasgow, who extended to you an invitation to help us with matters of the utmost importance and urgency. We understand that this request will come to you unexpectedly and may seem extraordinary, but we assure you the circumstances behind it are more extraordinary still. The office of the Lord Provost has undertaken an exhaustive search to seek out individuals who might be equal to the task, and your names were presented to us this very morning. To come to the point, the city of Glasgow has of late been plagued by a series of unexplained and disturbing murders. Our own dedicated police force has had little success in finding the perpetrator or perpetrators of these vicious and seemingly unconnected crimes, whose scale and nature are too horrible for words. Our procurator fiscal has declared that these killings are not the result of the usual and lamentable violence that man inflicts upon man. This is something altogether different and more perverse. He went as far to call them unholy. I have been instructed by the Lord Provost and the councillors of the city of Glasgow to request formally your help in dealing with these murders, and beseech you to come into Glasgow as soon as is possible. This barbaric murderer must be stopped, and we believe you to be our best hope in this regard. The Corporation of Glasgow and the Office of the Lord Provost will spare no expense to bring you to Glasgow swiftly and to accommodate you in the style to which you are accustomed as our honored guests. The Lord Provost sends his assurances that you will have every assistance available. In addition, the City and Corporation of Glasgow will provide you with a substantial retainer during your stay and a handsome reward upon bringing in this murderer or murderers, as the case may be, to justice. Our need is great. We implore you to help us with these deplorable murders. No one should suffer as these men and women have been made to. If you are able, please come to Glasgow to help us resolve this terrible situation. We hope for a quick and positive response by telegraph or courier. Yours most sincerely, H. Cadden, Mr. Hugh Cadden, Private Secretary of the Lord Provost.
So
Unholy then. Constable Webster, what is the nature of these murders?
I'd rather not say. I wouldn't want to embellish, but from what I've been told, they are quite messy affairs. The cleanup is.
I should be very interested to know how long it has been since these murders. My speciality usually requires that I'm at the scene of the crime shortly after it occurs to make judgments. It's difficult to judge things that have taken place a month ago, perhaps, or I have to do some dissections. If they haven't already buried the bodies.
And Walter, you would know that apparently there was it's like the higher ups aren't really talking about it, but apparently there was a really bad murder, but not about 2 days ago, that had a lot of people up in arms. It seems like they've been keeping on the hush, but not long after that, you received a letter and you got instructions by your supervisor to come here. But it's around this time that you see a rather tall young man, fire red hair, wearing a navy blue suit, and he comes down the steps and he smiles at all of you and says, "Mr. Canton, we'll see you now. If you would just follow me."
Excellent, yes, of course.
So he leads you up the steps and through a couple of hallways. The hallways are covered in all types of ornate pictures and more of that dim, welcoming lighting. You make it to the Lord Provost's office. It is just as elaborate as, because for those of you who don't know, Lord Provost is basically a mayor. So he's sitting behind a polished oak desk, and as you walk in, he does stand up, and he ushers you in. Come in. Thank you so much for coming on short notice. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedules in your own cities to help us out. Would any of you like tea or coffee, anything? I know some of you just got into the city recently.
Tea is just what I need, nice. I think.
Yes.
Okay. So he makes a nod to Gibbs, and he gives a nod and runs out the room. So as you're all sitting down, he says, "Thank you all for coming. I really wish it was better news in regards to our situation since I sent you that letter. But unfortunately, it's gotten worse since our last correspondence." Let me try to start from the beginning. So though the newspaper stopped reporting on it, over the past 10 months, the city's been plagued by at least 18 murders over that time period. Each one is gruesome as the one before it. I'm told many of the victims have been decapitated or found missing limbs and organs. Some are simply butchered, and others look as if they were attacked by some kind of animal.
Wow.
That second factor, unfortunately, has given rise to the rumor that there's werewolves running around Glasgow.
Oh.
And the others who aren't saying that are the ones who coined the phrase Glasgow Ripper, which I'm sure you may have seen in the newspaper not too long ago. The first of the murders was a dock worker. He was found killed outside the Clydeside warehouse near the docks. His body had been mutilated, and according to the reports from the police force, most of him was missing. And not a fortnight after that, another young man was found. His arms and legs were torn off, and he was found by the Govan subway stop. By that point, the pattern had already been set. More bodies continue to be found, and the city is absolutely terrified. And you hear and see more and more of the Glasgow Ripper in the newspapers and in just hushed talk as you walk through the city. But this latest murder, it was a young girl, Lucy Siddons. She, unfortunately, was quite literally ripped in half. And according to the medical examiners, at the time, she was pregnant. And I'd rather not think on that particular incident any longer, but it continues.
May I ask when the last murder occurred?
Yes, Lucy died she was found 2 days ago.
Is there a pattern to these murders? Do these people live near each other? Anything like that?
No, and that's what's so maddening, and I think that's what has the police force stumped. No offense, Officer Webster. There is no pattern. It's not just women or men or anyone of a particular age. There have been people of all genders and all ages taken and murdered. So it's been hard to get a lead because when we follow a certain mode of thinking, this monster, this maniac flips the script, as it were.
Are there any details that you've not released to the public that show that they are all the same murderer? How do you believe that they're linked? What's
The savagery? They're all
the savagery?
every all the murders. Like my letter said, it's not just the normal man against man, woman against woman. It's just people are just completely taken apart, and most of these bodies are also missing organs. So that's kind of like the only link we have at this point.
And their families, are they all, have the families claimed the bodies and buried them now?
Most of the earlier ones have been claimed. However, with Lucy, I knew you were already on your way, so her body is still at the coroner's office inside the Royal Infirmary.
Okay.
I've also been told they do have a coroner's report for you as well, Doctor.
Yes, I'd like the coroner's reports from each and every crime.
Absolutely, we can definitely accommodate.
Perhaps we'll find a pattern that you've not seen.
Okay.
Forgive me, Lord Provost, but did you say taken? Were they? Am I right in hearing that they were moved before they were murdered?
Taken, meaning some of them were marked as disappearances at first.
Were they able
moved to a location outside of where they normally would be, where these people normally live and work?
No, the second murder, however, at that point we were thinking it was some type of animal. But the second murder and the train stop, it was deduced that the actual death happened outside the subway station and the body was dragged back down down the steps. And through a locked door. It was a service entrance that no, layperson has access to. And
yes, so it wouldn't be an animal then.
Right. And that's when we realized this is a person doing this.
From the very, very slight descriptions that you've given, it might seem that we're dealing with somebody on par with Jack the Ripper, 30 years ago.
Yes.
Somebody who's a maniac.
Yes, and that's what has the citizenry scared, because it's no one's safe. People of all classes have been killed, so everyone's on edge.
And no messages or postings or anything from the murderer?
None. But in this case, death continues to follow death, because at the same time, about a month ago, there was a disease that started to strike the more populated areas, such as the East Side slums. And there's also been many cases in the Duke Street prison and also in the Royal Infirmary. Whatever this disease is, it kills in a day. Now, I don't want that to be a priority for you, but in your investigations, when it comes to these murders, if you find any links for that, I would love to hear that information. Another thing that occurred the same night Lucy died was an Irish sloop that arrived in the city. I was told it was hours before anyone could get close to this. Once people realized it was there, the smell was so bad. The police were able to open it, and inside were about 50 decomposed bodies of various decomposition. At first, we thought it was foul play, but it seems many of them are cadavers or older bodies that were exhumed. We don't know who sent the ship here. and there weren't any logs on the ship. If you wanted to investigate that you could also look into that. But again, the murderer is the priority. There's a reason why we called you here. There's a lot going on. It has the police stretched thin. It's just too much going on at the same time. And we just needed a team focus on these murders.
Mr. Cadden, is there a place that we could use as a kind of headquarters to gather information? A laboratory or something where I can do tests, where we could, have as our home base. Perhaps.
Well, yes. So,
University?
like I said, we will accommodate you in any way you need. If you're looking for a laboratory, we can set one up for you at the police station. If you wanted to research certain things, in regards to your lodgings, it depends on if you want to keep a low profile or not. We do have rooms ready for you at the old Waverly, or if you wanted to go a little highbrow, we can take you to the Grand Royal Hotel. It's up to you.
I think that we should be quite discreet. If the public knows about it, we don't want them following us about and asking questions. But I also think that if you all agree that we should stay in the same place, we may be late into the evening.
Yes, I mean the hope would be that we're busy chasing down leads and not spending time lounging around. The old Waverly is fine with me in that regard.
I mean, I'm happy to stay up late, but I think my wife would tan my hide if I just stayed up at a hotel while, there's a murderer running around the city.
You live local, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not a problem for you. You have the comfort of your wife. I suppose ideally it would be a place where if we could have I could do both medical examinations of evidence and the others could work on whatever documents or evidence that we could pull together. I'm sure the detectives are very much used to that sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think we can hear
has
you.
the latest crime scene been isolated?
It was. However, it rained.
Yeah,
I see.
It's 2 days
So,
ago.
well, we still have it isolated for you. It was 2 days ago, but there's not much you can do. It's been raining for the past 2 days, so there's not much you can do with that.
Well, it's still the most recent, so I believe that's where I'll be.
It is most imperative that should another such incident occur, that we be alerted immediately and be able to be on the scene, preferably without a lot of, forgive me, Mr. Webster, police interference. We don't want anyone muddying up the crime scene before we've examined it.
Yes, and that is something I wanted to speak to. You are here as guests in the city, and we will, because of the level of danger, we will issue you permits to use weapons in the city. We weren't sure if you were, but if you decide to take that, understand every time you use your weapon, you will be under the highest scrutiny.
Oh, I don't mind.
Yes. I refuse to carry any kind of firearm, but
of course
the police and the detectives can certainly do that.
What did you speak with any workers who would have had access to that locked door in the subway?
Yes,
they have alibis. Okay.
We did, and they do. Most of them, or they were corroborated either by their family members and or neighbors on the street. So we couldn't root them out. At first, we didn't believe them because who wouldn't lie for you other than family? But once we started interviewing the neighbors and they were corroborating the stories, that leave them cold.
Still, the very fact that that door could be opened by somebody with a key would indicate that one of them is probably the murderer, but
Potentially someone with
I have a feeling that following up on 10-month-old ghosts is not going to yield as useful results as looking into this Lucy.
yes.
So if you want it, like I said, we did save her body for you. Unfortunately, her mother couldn't take it. She went quite mad after she identified the body.
Of course.
However, we do know where she worked. She worked at the Arkwright house for Gregory Arkwright. He made his fortune building ships before the Great War. If you would like to meet with him, I can set up a meeting, or you could just go there. It depends on how you want to handle the situation. But she was a chambermaid there. That's where she lived.
And where was the child's body found?
On Robert Street.
Outside.
Outside, not too far from the Royal Infirmary. It's a road that intersects the infirmary and the necropolis.
Yes, well, that's my priority, is examining the body.
Were all these bodies found in public places?
Publicly accessible, but not out in the open, if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
The only exception is the second murder behind that door.
No private residences, though.
No. They were all found somewhere in the street.
I'm assuming then that you're telling us the child was left at home while the mother worked, and that somebody came and stole her, killed her, and left her somewhere. She wasn't.
No. Lucy was a young woman,
right,
who was pregnant when she was killed.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're correct. Yes. Okay. All right. So she was on her way to work.
Was she married?
No. We didn't post the pregnancy in the newspaper just to give her some dignity. However, she wasn't on her way to work. She was found around 6 a.m.
in the morning.
And she wouldn't have to leave for work because she lives where she works. So,
has anyone tried to see? Perhaps she was visiting the father of her child. Has anyone followed that yet?
That's definitely a lead we want to follow. But she didn't have many friends, and those around her, none of them could say who the father was.
Well, I don't have any other further questions. That I might in the future, but at the moment, I'd very much like to see the body.
Okay. So again, like I said, the office is at your disposal. Just let us know anything you need. There should be a cab waiting for you. So did you want to head to the infirmary to take a look at the body?
Yes, I think that's the wisest thing. If you could have somebody move my things to wherever we're going to be staying. Do either of the detectives want to come with me? It can be rather gruesome.
Medicine isn't particularly my specialty, Dr. Canmore.
All right, I'll report to you anything that I find.
Okay. So the doctor's heading to the infirmary. What about the rest of you?
Last crime scene, even if it's been washed away, it's my duty to make sure nothing's missed.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the last crime scene as well.
Okay. So that's Eugene and Elaine head into the crime scene, and Elise and Walter.
Constable Webster, if you would like to accompany me to the Arkwright house,
More than happy.
I think we'll go pay Gregory a visit.
Right.
Sergeant Collins, maybe you and I can do a little bit of canvassing in the neighborhood too. Perhaps some of the locals have heard rumors that have not made it to all the way here.
Well, you see, I don't know if you really want me to go door to door with this, you know. And as you look, you'd see burn scars over most of the face.
Well, perhaps a task for later then.
Okay.
Don't worry, Collins. I don't think anybody would be looking at you.
Okay. So let's start with those of you going to the Arkwright house. So that's you. That's the constable and Elise, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you make your way down to the cab. It's a nice car, but you jump in. The rain is still pouring down. You hear the cadence of it on the street as you're moving forward. You continue to drive through the more or less the city center and the business district, and you continue to see all these closed businesses. After about 20 minutes, then things start to ritz up a bit. You see a huge, larger estates, well-kept land, well landscaped, and then up past the necropolis, you see the Arkwright house. That's mostly alone on a stretch of road that curves back to the city. You make it there, and as you're walking out of the rain, you see a large marble arch as you're walking up to the door, and you rap on it, and a smaller, older woman answers it. She's in a functional Swift, and she's like, can I help you?
Perhaps. We are here on the behalf of the Glasgow Police Department. We're hoping to speak with Mr. Arkwright.
Oh, yes. This is about Lucy, of course. Come on in. And she offers to take your coats if you'll allow her.
Thank you.
They always treat you this nicely, Ellis?
All right, so
Well, yes, they do.
okay. So as you're walking,
detective.
so
This is what I'm talking about. Your self-confidence, Constable Webster. People need to respect you and the authority that you bear. Do you understand? Being an authoritative, confident presence, you get treated rather well.
We'll see if I have it in me. I'm sorry, ma'am. What were you saying?
no problem at all. If you just follow me. So she leads you into the building, and she leads you immediately to the left, and it's a large, ornate sitting room. And as you go in without any checks, you see a picture of a young man. He seems relatively successful. There's picture after picture of ship christenings and dinners and travel. He seems like he gets out a lot. And as you're looking, she says, "Yeah, that's Mr. Cott right there. He had a very interesting young life. But give me a few moments. I'm going to let him know you're here, and I'll be right back." And she steps out of the room. I mean, sorry, Arkwright. Thank you for the correction. Sorry.
This is quite opulent.
Well, it's a good business if you can stay in it. Shipwright. He's got to look at these various things. He's probably seen a couple of them growing up. It's
Definitely.
different seeing them in person though than pictures.
Yeah, when you were growing up, a majority of the people in the city worked in some capacity when it came to building the ships. So when especially the larger ones, even if it was a luxury liner or a warship, it was always a big deal when they were christened and and set out. So yeah, you would have recognized some of these.
Some of this is a little artistic flair. I don't remember this day being that good, although I was fairly young.
Well, artists are rather detached from reality. Quite disdainful, really. They used to paint things that were real. Now they all impressionism, post-impressionism.
Yeah. So after
It's
about
not my specialty. Sorry.
no problem. So she doesn't have you. Well, he doesn't have you waiting long. She comes back in, and she leads you out of that room again, and then you take another left further into what you see as an entrance hall. The large chandelier up top, and more paintings of ships, and you see some certificates and some diplomas. Very proud man. So you veer off to the left to a sitting room, and in there is a 90, would you perceive to be a 90-year-old man sitting in a wheelchair. And give me a spot hidden check as you walk into the room.
A 10 is an extreme success.
Okay. Perfect. So you can recognize this is the same guy in all of these photos. Now, Webster, like I said, you grew up in this city. When you weren't that, you were cognizant of when some of these ships were finished. And looking at those photos, he couldn't have been older than mid-30s. So it's not that much longer, but this is the same man, but he looks old and decrepit. So he smiles at you and he kind of wheels over and welcome in. The Lord Provost office said that someone might come about this horrible Lucy business. If we can be of any help, please let us know. Any questions you want to ask?
Yes, that is, in fact, why we've come, Mr. Arkwright. It's a rather beautiful home you have here.
Yes, I made most of my fortune before the war. I was more fortunate than most. If you go down to the docks now, most of the shipyards are just ghost towns.
Yeah, well, you flourished in business while it was still there to flourish.
And there's no other way to do that. But yes, so this Lucy business.
Yes, what function did she have on your staff here at the house?
She was simply a maid. Her job was to clean the rooms that are regularly used, like my bedroom, the sitting rooms. I do get a lot of visitors, library. Just make sure everything is kept clean and kept in order. She even was smart enough to keep the books in order as well. I have never had an issue with her. That's why this is so shocking. She was a exemplary employee. I just don't understand why she was out at that time of night.
Yes, what hours did she normally keep?
She would sleep here. She would only leave on the weekends to visit her mother. But the hours, she would be up by 7 a.m, and she would continue to work until about 4:35. Most of the work was done by then. I try to keep the hours fair.
Do you have other cleaners that work here as well that we could talk to?
Yes, yes. You met one of them, I'm sure, as you were coming in.
And about how many do you employ?
Well, it was two. It was Mrs. Gibbs and Lucy, just those two. Mrs. Gibbs, she handled most of like the hard work, like the cooking. Um, if I needed help in or out of my chair, she was the one to assist me with any leverage. And Lucy handled just the cleaning.
Right? How did you initially meet Lucy?
Well, once after the war, we most people will regularly go out to the slums looking for people to fill these positions, and we just choose the person that best fits our needs. I got lucky with Lucy. I did. She was, even young and being impressionable, she was a really good worker.
Do you mind if
And
we take a look around her room while we're here?
Absolutely. And he calls Mrs. Gibbs back into the room, and she can take you up there.
Excellent. But how would you describe your relationship with Lucy beyond being her employer?
Friendly. She didn't talk much. As someone in her position shouldn't. She wasn't rude. I wasn't rude to her. It was respectful. If I asked her to do something, she did it. If she needed something, she would ask me.
Uh, to ask something perhaps a little more delicate, um, do you know of any significant male acquaintances in her life?
I never get that involved with people I employ. It's not my place. As long as they don't bring any of that business here, I have no reason to pry.
Was she acting strange or odd in the last couple of days, weeks?
She maybe seemed more. She seemed more nervous or agitated. I could say that, but nothing that would warrant reprimand.
Uh, Anxious. How?
Jumpy.
About when did that start?
About 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Just jumpy, easily startled.
Yeah, that yes, that's probably how I would describe it.
As you said, you don't like to pry into your employees' lives, but is there any? Did she mention anything around that time? Did she go on a vacation, perhaps, or some event, party, receive something?
No, no, it just seemed nothing of the sort. But again, you're more than welcome to see her room. Hopefully, if you can find anything in there, that's you're completely open to it. But I'm sorry, I can't tell you more.
Okay, the world is full of tragic and horrible things, Mr. Arkwright.
But it's hard when it happens to someone like her.
Did you have any plans for when the baby came?
Excuse me? I
Did you not know?
No, I didn't. No. Oh, she could have told me.
Yeah, I want to make a
What?
psych roll on him.
Go ahead.
That was the 32 is it's a regular. I could spend 2 points of luck to make that a hard.
Don't bother. He is genuinely upset at that, and this is genuine surprise.
Now, is it? I'm trying to gauge the kind of surprise that it is. Is it kind of like a moral freak out,
messed
or
up
is
surprised,
or is he like, did he mess up surprised, or is it just a more general societal norm surprised?
societal norm?
Okay.
If you're asking, is he giving you flickers of involvement? No.
Yeah, okay. He did not know. It seems like Lucy led quite an interesting life. I'm not surprised that she didn't tell you, I suppose. It would have come up sooner or later.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
I'm sorry. She never told me. She could. I'm sorry. Yeah, at this point he starts to get quieter. When you two first arrive, he seemed very open, but after you give him that news, he seems kind of to take a step back.
Well, we'll do our best to solve this, Mr. Arkwright. We won't let your employee go, quietly away. Is he showing? We've had these like the sickness spreading through. Is he showing signs of any symptoms?
No, because the biggest symptom is people not lasting a day. So just based off of that, whatever he has is not that.
Yeah,
he looks like he's lasted for a lot of very long days.
Right.
If he caught it, he'd last about 5 minutes. It sounds like. All right.
I apologize, Mr. Arkwright. I didn't mean to add any more trouble. I'm sure this whole situation has been rather difficult for you. But you must forgive me. It's always important to follow up on everything.
It's not your fault. Bad news is bad news, no matter where it comes from. It's just the police weren't very open with me, and that's upsetting. No one told me that. I guess it was none of my business, but if you excuse me.
Well, I feel candor gets one to the truth faster than evasiveness and sometimes propriety.
I agree.
Well, Shelby Webster.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So sorry for your loss, sir.
Thank you. And
if you think of anything else, please don't hesitate to tell us.
Absolutely. So, Mrs. Gibbs, she comes back. I can lead you to our room now. Looking at her without her eyes are bloodshot, and she's clearly stressed out. But she leads you deeper into the house. As you're going up to the servants' quarters, the opulence of the lower floors turns into just bare plaster. Some of it cracked. Some of the stairs are uneven. And she continues to lead you deeper in the house. So then we're going to switch over to those of you who are heading to the crime scene. You make it to the crime scene, and as the secretary said, they kept it cordoned off for you. You can see that they even attempted to put up tarps higher on some of the buildings to try and preserve some of this. They did their best. I mean, there's not much you can do, but they tried. But it's cordoned off. Once you get there, a cop stops you like, "Hey, I need to see some identification."
Yep. Badge
Okay.
flash.
Same.
Okay, so they let you through. And give me both of you. You can go ahead and give me spot hiddens.
07. I think that's an extreme. It is.
Okay, so here with an extreme, you see multiple footprints and hoof prints.
Okay. Hoof prints. Look at this.
All over,
Sergeant, come look.
all over the area. And Elaine, you're a detective for a reason, so you kind of start to piece this together as you go along. She was, from what you can see, she had to have been walking alone, and she was taken from the side, and she was pushed up against a building, and from the blood splatter higher on the wall, she was picked up. Yeah, she was picked up and slammed against the wall.
From a normal height, I'm assuming, like not like a 3 stories in the air.
No, nothing. No, not 3 stories. Like, well,
just making sure.
I'm 6 foot, so it looks like someone who was like my
someone
size
tall picked her up
and slammed her. Yeah,
got it.
After that, the tracks get muddled, but it's pretty clear that was the initial strike. And the amount of blood you're seeing, or what's left, you're not sure if it killed her, but it definitely contributed to her death. But is there anything else you two are looking for in particular?
Did the hoof prints look like they're a part of the scene, or just someone came through with a horse later, I guess? Like, could we assume the man or the perpetrator apprehended her on horseback initially?
With your extreme, it seems like it's a part of the scene.
I see.
Either perhaps they were riding by and they picked her up and slammed her, but it seems like the horse stopped.
Interesting. What do you think, Sergeant?
I think this is a big guy, scary, mean, nasty. You guys are you're much better at this kind of thing than I am.
Considerable strength it must have been.
Yeah.
But you're right, very tall, strong. Does it? This is where they found her body too, though. So
yes.
He slammed her against the wall, killed her here. Okay, didn't make off on horseback with her. All right.
No.
Okay. I don't. Unless there's like a maker's mark in the shoe prints, I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Remind me how we found her, or how her body was found. Ripped in half?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Terrible. Are there residential homes nearby?
Not here.
Okay.
This is a rather, it's an emptier street between the necropolis and the Royal Infirmary. There's a lot of foot traffic farther down the road, especially now because of the disease. But here, this street actually feeds into the road that leads to the rest of the city. That it's like the main road that encircles the city.
Correct. Did they say she was ripped in half, like physically, literally ripped in half? That's not possible.
That was the that was
That
the
was the
exact wording.
description.
Yeah.
I don't know how someone can do that. It's unnatural. It's not right.
I'm inclined to agree with you here, Sergeant. It's not possible. I'd be curious to know what the doctor comes back with in his report. Still, I think it's not a bad idea to ask around. As I said, people talk rumors. Sometimes there's some truth in rumors, even a kernel of it. The horse thing is strange to me, though. Obviously, he wasn't using a horse via the subway. Maybe that's nothing. Is there anything else you wanted to look at here before we move on, Sergeant?
Are there trees around? What does this look like exactly? This crime scene?
So the area seems like they try to keep it well kept. The Royal Infirmary, it's a important hospital for the Empire in general. It's still there now. So there are some trees, but I don't want you to think forest. I want you to think more deliberately planted and manicured trees lining a road.
Okay.
And that it stays that way up until you get to the walls of the necropolis, and then that's replaced by those walls and the iron fences that encompass that area.
As best we can tell, which I realize might just not be possible to know, does it seem like there are only two sets of footprints? One that would ostensibly belong to Lucy and one to her murderer?
As best you can tell, there's at least two.
Okay. Probably really, really difficult to tell regardless with the conditions as they are. Okay. Then, I think, go ahead.
I don't think I've got much else. I was thinking maybe they tied her to a tree, pulled her with the horse, ripped her in half. But
that's not a terrible hypothesis, Sergeant, actually.
It's the only thing.
The trees don't have any. Is there any trees that have trunk damage to them, anything like that, like bark scraped off?
Give me a spread. Yeah. Let's have ourselves a look-see.
No, that's 98. I wasted my good roll initially.
You do your best to look, but as you're going out into towards these trees, you're leaving the tarps that the police kept up to preserve, and it's torrential downpour, so you can't really see it.
Could I make a roll as well, or was it just
Sure, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I got a success, just a regular success.
So what kind of things is your character? I know we recently made this character. What kind of things does your character like to do?
Like to do
on his free time? Is he a hunter?
No, not he's not a hunt. Yeah, I think he would hunt actually. He's pretty good with guns. Yeah, he likes to hunt. He likes to smoke. He likes to drink.
Okay. So you do see some markings on these trees that are, if this wasn't close to a city center and you were in a forest, you would say that's bear sign.
You see that? That's not right. That's not right. There's sign. It looks like a bear's been here. On that
there
tree.
Haven't been any reports of the Glasgow Zoo missing an animal, have there?
No, that definitely would make the news. People love wonky stuff like that. No, there was none that you know, and as a whole, when it comes just to the British Isles, a lot of the known predators have long since been eradicated from the island.
Right.
So bear sign would be signs of just like clawing down the tree, like removed bark with like claw marks and tracks.
That would be bear sign. Their fur, because they like to also scratch their back on trees as well.
Ooh,
You
if,
don't
if
see
there's
any fur.
we should take a
Okay.
sample of that.
Yeah, you don't see any fur. I was just using an example, but yes,
I
definitely.
understand.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Huh.
Are there any looky-loos kind of being nosy, poking their heads around as we're investigating?
No,
Okay.
the no looky loos. It's pretty
Quiet.
bad raining. So
Okay.
I don't
This
think
bear
that I've
thing,
got.
though, that's strange. That's worth mentioning, I think.
I do too.
I don't think I have anything else.
So Eugene, you're looking at that bear sign, and you're kind of looking around the area. You do see more of these footprints and the hoof marks, and it seems like it's coming from like the cathedral area. So imagine in your mind, there's the Royal Infirmary to the left, and to the almost exact like southeast is the cathedral, and then to the right of that is the necropolis, and these tracks seem to be coming from the necropolis.
Shall we follow?
Why not? So I'll lead the way.
Okay. So you all will make it there, and Doctor, you arrive to the Royal Infirmary. You walk in, people are running back and forth. There are people who are just coughing, laying on beds. It seems like they've run out of beds at this point. Someone stops you immediately, like, you can't be here. It's too many sick people. What is your business here?
I'm Dr. Canmore. I've been brought in by the Lord Provost to examine the body in the morgue of Miss Lucy. Not sure what I knew what her name, Lucy Siddons. What's going on? Lots of sick people.
It's this damn sickness. It takes people overnight. People come in sick, and before the sun rises, they're already dead.
And is it contagious? Is it transferring to other people in the hospital? What about the doctors, the nurses?
Some of them have already died as well. That's why you really need to be careful.
Yeah, yes, I don't want to go amongst this. Is there a physician in charge?
Yes, Dr. Cullen, he's taken charge of the when it comes to the disease. He has cordoned off the laboratories in the basement as a quarantine area for the bodies. He's even come up with some type of inoculation that seems to be holding and working. If it weren't for him, we'd have been in a lot of trouble already.
Well, I should possibly like to speak with him, but at the moment I need to examine the body of Miss Lucy Siddons.
That autopsy was performed by Dr. Burden and I believe Dr. McLean. I know where her body is. I'll take you there, and then I'll notify them that you're here.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
So she leads you deeper into the hospital. It's more people laying on stretchers. The air in here smells sickly. Like, it just makes you uncomfortable. You don't want to be here, but you're here for a reason. Most people aren't even looking at the eyes, almost just like when you're in the streets. People are just too on edge and too nervous. They're just trying to get through their days. Yeah.
I have a mask on.
So you make it to a room on the third floor. It's cold. And the nurse turns on the light, and as you're walking in, you actually hear the lights click, 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 click as you walk into the room. She walks over to one of the doors. That's not the right one. Then she walks over to two or three more. Then she finally finds the right one, and she says, "I've seen enough of this one. I'll leave you to it."
That's quite all. Yes.
The autopsy report. I have that for you here, and she hands that to you. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
So did you want to look at it? So look at the autopsy report.
What I'm looking for, yeah. I'll look at before I look at the report, I'd like to see independently and draw some of my own conclusions. Okay. So I will set that to the side. I will open up the vault and pull out the tray. Not sure that they were quite the same way back then, but
so they try to be as respectful as possible, but you are looking at two parts of a woman. I'm not sure how much like stuff like this that your character has dealt with. Would you say that it's something that they normally see?
I imagine that they called me in because I have dealt with and helped solve cases in the past. So I've seen dead bodies.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So you're looking at this, but even with this is probably one of the more vicious ones you've seen.
Yeah. Keeping an objectivity and looking at it. In general, she's been. Does it look to me like she has been cut in half or torn in half?
Give me a medicine check.
Okay. Oh, that's 27. That's a heart.
Okay. From what you're seeing, it looks like both.
So they cut part of her and then tore her apart. Are there any ligature marks?
No, it's actually the other way around. With a heart, it looks like she was ripped first and then later cut.
And then cut. Are there any ligature marks like on her wrists or ankles?
No, but there are abrasions around her neck.
Around her neck, contusions where she's been maybe hit?
No, she's throttled.
Throttled. Okay.
And so you're at this point you're just looking over the remains, correct?
Correct.
So yeah, you'll lift her head and there's a lot of dried blood in the back of her head. And you see a large contusion in the back of her head. So someone
was hit.
Yeah. Or violently smashed. Yeah.
Right. Good. Then she wasn't being tortured to death. Okay. At this point, I'd probably have to have the parts moved onto a table in order to examine them.
Mm-hmm.
And once I've managed that, can I see missing organs? I pretty much know the inside of the body. Are there lungs, liver?
Her lungs are still there. Her heart is still there. Her spleen is missing. Her liver is missing.
Stomach.
Her kidneys. Stomach is missing. A majority of her small intestine are missing as well.
Small intestines, okay. And the report said that she was pregnant. Is the fetus missing?
Yes.
Okay. Can I tell by some medical means how far along she might have been?
With a heart, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure there are some signs internally that point to
Probably,
that.
yeah.
So yes, she was about 8 weeks along.
Oh, okay. Then the fetus wouldn't have been large enough. She probably might. I mean, she would have probably known that her period had stopped, but she wouldn't be showing yet.
Not just yet.
So she might not have known that she was pregnant. Certainly anybody around her wouldn't have known that she was pregnant. She wouldn't have been showing yet. So fairly early on. Are there any like zoonotic wounds? Anything that looks like she was attacked by an animal? Rip marks, tear marks that are like regular fingernail spaced apart, claw marks.
Yes. So on the back of her neck, it looks like whatever had her pressed, or as it was thrown, pressed in so deeply that you see about 2 claw marks in the back.
Okay. I will look at those very carefully to see that if any fingernails or anything got snapped off in the process.
Roll me a luck.
17. What is my luck? 50. So yeah, 17. That's a pass.
Okay. So yes, there is a small piece of some type of claw or keratin in the wound.
And does it look fairly large or cat-like, or?
It's hard for you to tell. It seems like it's the tip of something.
Okay, I'll make sure I remove that and put it in a separate thing. Maybe there's a veterinarian that can tell us. And then I'll just in general be going over everything to see if there's anything else I could tell. I'm now curious about the morphology of the disease that's going on. Is there any sign that she was ill?
No.
And no cancerous tumors or anything inside of her as I'm looking around?
No, she seemed like a relatively healthy woman.
Okay. A shame.
Indeed.
So I will then go through the autopsy reports.
Okay. So the autopsy report, it says kind of what you're picking up on. The cause of death was asphyxiation. The throat was compressed as head was slammed into the ground. They remarked that the lacerations on the back of the head confirmed that, and she was disemboweled post-mortem.
Broken bones? I mean, obviously she's been snapped in half, but arms, legs broken?
She's missing a leg. The other ones aren't broken, but her right leg is completely missing.
So she wasn't hit by a car.
No, you've seen seen hit and run victims. This was not that, because her rib cage seems to be completely open, and
And does it look like it was opened medically by like Jack the Ripper seemed to use a scalpel? And
there are some things that seem to look like they were done medically. The missing organs, they look like that was done medically.
That's interesting. And I guess my only thing would be to look at those closely to see if it would be literally a surgeon who would be needed to do this, or
yeah.
And it looks like that.
Yeah. So, well, at the very someone who knows their way.
Who knows what they were doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Have Doctors Verdon and McLean shown up yet?
Yes. So they
Nice to meet you.
hello, and well, it's actually just Dr. Burden. And he says, Doctor, they told me that they were calling in someone. It is a pleasure to meet you. Your reputation precedes you. I've seen some of the cases you've worked on.
Well, thank you. It's we do what we can.
So I see you've had the unfortunate task of dealing with Lucy's death.
Yes, it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to see the other bodies. Did you work on some of them as well?
I did. That's why I came down. A lot of them were like this. Lucy was the first to be fully ripped like that, but all of them were violent. All of them had missing organs or missing limbs.
Did they have the same missing organs?
No, that was a random. The cops asked that as well, and we kept a good record. And he pulls out a rather hefty file,
right?
And you flip through it, and you're looking at the causes of death that were named, and you're looking at they have the photo, and they mark missing things or mark lacerations. It's all random.
It's random. And the locations are scattered around the city.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm simply gathering data at the moment. Oh, do you by chance know anything about this strange disease that seems to be plaguing your city?
From what we can tell, it attacks the immune system. It puts the white blood cells in overdrive. It causes swelling around the neck, and its onset is so violent that most people die within the first day.
Do they die from asphyxiation? Does it cause their neck to swell and they can't breathe?
No, they're in many cases their organs rupture.
Oh.
I can show you. And he walks you over to another cabinet, and he pulls it out, and this you have not seen before. So I need a sanity check. The body the body almost looks like it was sitting in water for a long period of time. But that swelling that I'm describing, it's only around the neck. Okay. It's like it almost looks like they have no neck, that their shoulders attached.
Yeah, a great deal of swelling. I failed that.
Okay. All right, so just take one.
I probably fail. I probably take the 1 point because I'm thinking I don't want to get that disease. I'm sure we'll figure out what it is eventually, but I don't want to be a victim of it. And how widespread is the disease? Is it?
It's mainly hitting it's getting there. It's mainly hitting the populated areas, the prison, the East Side slums, and this infirmary.
Anybody from rich neighborhoods, or just from the poor neighborhoods? What are the symptoms? What does the person? How does it progress? Do they come in feeling sick?
They come in. At first, it's a loss of their eyesight gets fuzzy, then it progresses, and yellow and purple bruises start to appear over the body. After that, the swelling begins, then coma, then death, and by that point, that's when the organs start to rupture. Yeah.
And any indication whether it's a germ or a virus, or I'm sure they could identify a virus, but a pathogen of some sort, bacteria.
I haven't worked very closely with the disease to that point. Dr. Cullen is the one heading up all the research.
Excellent.
He's he made a lot of sacrifice. Many of us have families, but Dr. Cullen, he's one of the few that doesn't have a family, and he took it upon himself as a responsibility to be the one to be on the front line.
Excellent. He's a brave man. We're setting up a kind of a headquarters. Can I take these pathology reports and with me? And we're trying to decide. We're trying to figure this whole thing out ourselves.
Absolutely. I've already. And he looks over and goes to the main desk in this room, and he signs these pathology reports out. They're all. It seems like they're numbered in a particular sequence. So he just writes the sequence letter just to say that is BV, and then BV 1 through 18, and that's for the murders, and also he gives you a few other pathology reports for the disease victims.
Yeah, excellent. And then my next step will be to see Dr. Cullen, if that's possible.
That's going to be hard. He rarely comes out.
Well, perhaps I can just get his what's going on with the disease report or something. And
I'll definitely make that request, and I'll press upon him how important it is. He's one of those doctors.
Of course.
He's completely embroiled in his work.
He's risking his life. So
I tell you what, to give him enough time so you're not getting too much pushback, let me set a time up for you that he can meet you tomorrow morning.
All right.
That works better for you.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So we'll say that he will set up an appointment for you, that he'll meet you like 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll put that on his schedule. He's going to fight it. I'll make sure he's there.
Yep. Yes. Tell him that all I need to know is the details, and then I will do it as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. All right. But I do have more patients, Doctor. Is there anything else?
Please. Yeah.
All right. It's been a pleasure. And he shakes your hand,
Yeah.
and he runs out the room.
And I wash my hands.
Yeah. All
Now
right.
you're supposed to lick the residue off first.
Ew.
It's like Cheeto dust.
Oh. Okay. Cheeto dust aside, we're going to move back to the Arkwright estate. Walter, and it's Ellis, correct?
It's Elis.
Elis, gotcha. Walter and Elis, you are led up to Lucy's room. Mrs. Guinness says, I'll leave you be. If you need anything, I'll be just outside.
Actually, before you go, we do have a couple of questions for you.
She's very surprised at the fact that you want to interview her, and she says, "Oh, of course. I don't know how I could be of use, but what questions do you have?"
Well, just wondering how well you knew Lucy as a fellow employee of Arkwright.
Let's put it this way: not every person is suited for this life, but Lucy, she had a gift. She knew how to do her job and stay out of the way. Very rare for someone to come from where she came from and to have that kind of tact. So I knew her very well. I taught her how to do her job.
Where did she come from?
She came from the East End, the slums. We must have interviewed 30 girls before we decided on her, but I don't regret recommending her, and I'm sure Mr. Arkwright would agree that he doesn't regret hiring her. It's going to be hard to replace her.
I'm sorry, perhaps Elis, perhaps you covered this, but how long has Lucy been working here?
She's been working here for at least 3 years. Like I said, wonderful worker, well established. This is all came as a surprise to us.
Yeah, so working with her for 3 years, training her, how well do you feel like you knew Lucy personally?
I don't know if that's appropriate, but we talk. We all maids have have their secrets, and the
Mrs.
gossip from house to house. It's how it is.
Mrs. Gibbs,
Yes.
speaking about appropriateness, this young lady is dead, along with her unborn child. I think we can set prim and proper hang-ups aside. I need you to tell us what you know about Lucy and her life.
Give me your choice, some sort of social role.
I'm intimidate. I'm leaning into this old lady like an asshole
God.
because Elis is an asshole. If you haven't heard yet of that. All right. 56 is a regular success.
So she perks up and she's like, how do I say this? She matches your energy and she gets up and you're like, you don't scare me, you ruffian. I've seen your type. Who do you think you are?
I think I'm the law.
It's Mrs. Gitt. I'm sorry. He is from out of town. He doesn't know how things are done around here in Glasgow. He's from Cardiff. If you would believe such a thing. No, we're just trying to just calmly look into this. We need to find out, Mrs. Gidd. This house can't. Times are tough. We can't have scandals in this kind of household.
Give me persuasion.
Could I make a case for charm? If I flash her some pearly whites.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, barely. Success.
Okay. So there's a moment where she's kind of looking between Webster and Bowen, and then she kind of breaks down crying, and she says, Lucy, she should have never gone that night. And she sits down on Lucy's bed and she just starts sobbing. And she's like, there was nothing for it, you see. I know Mr. Arkwright, Sir Gregory, he would have had her out this house like a shot if he had found out that she was pregnant. Or that's what happens. You can't do this line of work and bring that kind of shame to the household. So she was such a good girl. Then I didn't know what to do. And Mr. Arkwright, he has a lot of visitors, and I spoke to that Dr. Cullen from the Royal Infirmary, and he said he would help our little Lucy, and he called on the phone and said it was arranged, and he said it'll all be fine.
But it wasn't, I guess.
I don't know if she even made it. That Dr. Cullen is a good man. What he was proposing could have gotten him into a lot of trouble.
Yes, understandably so. Now, do you know the night in question is the night of her death? Yes, 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's what the police say.
Yes. Do you, from what I understand from Sir Gregory, Lucy seemed to have gotten a little anxious, scared, starting about 2 months ago. Does this align with the pregnancy?
She starts crying even harder, and she's like, she was soon to show, and she was starting to crack. We had to do something.
Do you
And
do you know who the father was?
it was that horrible man who runs the Dock Street prison. Lucy's mother had a lot of medical bills, you see, and she did what she had to do. I mean, you only make so much working here. And she started his name. John Black, who is the warden of the Duke Street prison. Now, Walter, you know that name. Mr. Black is notorious gambler. And what's a polite way to say he likes women of the night? That's the politest way I can say it. He likes women of the night.
Yes. Has he ever been brought in, or is he wealthy enough that he is above that kind of thing?
He is the warden of a prison. I mean, we're not talking like he's not the Prince of Persia, but he's up there. He has enough pull that
He's in the system.
Yeah, getting someone
in a way
that's not enough to bring that kind of man down.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
And now, how long did you know that Miss Gibbs? How long did you know that Lucy was involved with such activities?
She only told me when she admitted to me that of the baby. So that was about a week ago, or about a week ago. A week and 2 days. Sorry.
What exactly did she say? Was she confided in you? Was she looking for advice?
Yeah, because she didn't know what to do about the baby.
Did she give any indication that, I mean, she told you the father was John Black, but did she give you any indication that John knew of the child?
No. She said she couldn't go to him. And to be honest, she's probably right.
He's not the sort of man that would take well to that sort of news. It's not exactly a good father type.
Yeah. He's the kind of cop we all hate.
Fair enough.
Who else? Did anybody else know?
She only
that
told
Lucy
me.
Was. Regarding the abortion.
No.
Was it you, her, and just the doctor?
No one else could know. She would get fired. I would get fired. The doctor, he could end up in jail. No one else could know.
Now, this doctor, is he well known? I mean, you contacted him, I guess, for a reason.
Well, yes, he was always here. He was extremely interested in Sir Arkwright's disease. He said it was for. He used to always use a lot of big words. He said it was frenetic or something like that.
I certainly can't supply another word that sounds
Neither can I.
quite
That's not
disabling.
my area of expertise.
It's I was going to ask, when did that account? I always remember seeing Mr. Arkwright as kind of a maybe, this is just when he's showing off his ships, but he seemed like quite a strong man.
Absolutely, it happened over about 15 years. He just ages quicker than other people.
And I suppose these people he brings in are primarily to look after that, or are they social friends?
Mostly social friends. The doctor was interested in it, but mostly just social friends, people he's met in his travels.
Has the doctor been around lately to the house?
No, not since the disease started to wreck the city. I don't know much about that, but I know that he's been involved in the cure effort.
Mm-hmm.
And Warden Black is a friend of Mr. Arkwright or not?
No, he would never
Okay, very
deal
good.
with that sort of person.
Now the disease. When did that all start again?
I don't know. I mean, we started seeing it in the news or in the newspaper maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't quite remember, but it wasn't that long ago. Now all you see is dribble about shadow fiends and murderers and werewolves. And she pulls up she walks out and she pulls a newspaper out of her room.
Werewolves sighted on the Bridge of Sighs. 3 local bakers claim to have seen werewolves running across the Bridge of Sighs on the very night that the maid Lucy Siddons was murdered near Fir Park Street. The men, who are walking up Wishart Street on their way to the Cairns Bakery, claim the strange creatures ran in the direction of Glasgow Cathedral and possessed glinting red eyes and great white teeth. The 3 men insist that what they saw was not human, but not animal either. Glasgow police, however, believe that the werewolves witnessed by the 3 bakers may in fact have been the killers escaping the scene of Miss Siddon's murder. The police have asked the public to come forward with any further information that might help lead to the capture of these cruel fiends. Any information should be sent to Detective Constable McKeegan in Turnbull Street.
Do you believe in werewolves, Miss Gibbs?
Absolutely not. I believe there are people out there who can do horrible things, and we create these fantasies as an excuse for them. But no werewolf did that to Lucy. That was just some crazed man.
Or men. Let's account as correct in the number spotted. Well, thank you for showing us up and answering our questions.
My pleasure. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you bring whoever did this to justice.
We'll do our best, miss.
I want to start taking a look around the room.
Okay.
I will assist.
Okay, so give me a spot hidden with a bonus die since Walter is helping you.
Well, I'm grateful for his assistance because That 92 is now a 52, which is a pass.
Amazing. Okay. So, searching through the room, now you're done the conversation. You see that this room is it's rather Spartan. There's just a floral pattern quilt on the bed and a small desk with a chair and a light. Inside the desk, you do find her Lucy's diary.
I don't know what to do or who to talk to. I cannot go home. I cannot leave Arkwright house. I'm terrified Sir Gregory and the others will notice. Am I really trapped? I broke down today before Mrs. Geddes. I don't know how, but I had to tell someone, and she's always been so good to me. She's promised not to tell Sir Gregory, thank God. And she understands about my family and said that she would try to help. I only hope she can. The baby is starting to show more and more. I don't know what to do. I caught Sir Gregory and that doctor looking at me queerly today. I almost ran from the room. I've got to do something, but what? What?
Okay, so as you're finished reading and you close that book, a small piece of paper falls out of that diary at your feet.
GRI, rear doors, 5 a.m. Royal Infirmary?
That would make sense. I suspect that's probably a
This
acronym I've heard.
this doctor is interesting to me.
Would agree. He seems he might be the last person to see her alive, if he saw her.
Yes, I'm a little more suspicious than just that. Constable Webster.
I'm
I mean,
curious
he knew
that
where the girl was going to be, that she would be alone.
I'm also concerned.
The
Mr.
surgical,
Ark,
like the clean removal of organs from these bodies.
and Mr. Arkwright claimed he would have worked through it, but Mrs. Geddes seemed very certain that he would immediately kick her out. I don't think he's as caring as he would make us, believe. I wonder if you're quite right, if perhaps he had the doctor take care of a problem for him.
Well, they seem to have developed telepathic capabilities. I don't know that Dr. Canmore has discovered the surgical removal of organs, but I'm suspicious of the doctor all the same. Something strikes me as wrong.
People with reputations like to keep them safe.
But yeah, I'm very intrigued and wary of this doctor. And yeah, as you were saying, Constable Webster, I'm not sure Mr. Arkwright. So, pontificate with me for a moment.
Okay.
If you're a man, you've been a strong man your whole life, shipbuilder, and you start rapidly deteriorating. How desperate would you be to save yourself, your body?
I mean, I would assume quite desperate. I know a lot of men turn towards, science or God.
And if you turn towards science and you have a friend in high places with medical knowledge, say a doctor at the Royal Infirmary, you have means, you have money, you have a city full of people. I wonder, Mr. Arkwright, this doctor.
Perhaps. Are you?
Nothing
I
definite.
I was just going to suggest that perhaps this is not the work of the original murderer. It seems to me it would be a simple thing for Dr. Cullen and Mr. Arkwright to fake one of these murders in order to take care of a problem for themselves. If they just killed Lucy in the middle of the night, then in a vicious manner, they might assume it's the murderer. Or she could be in the wrong place. We have very few leads, I'm afraid.
As I said, nothing definite, but I just wanted to plant that seed. Constable Webster, maybe something will come of it.
And with that, we are going to move to Elaine and Eugene. You two continue on your trek towards the mausoleum. While it's cloudy, it is still day. But even in the daylight, you're here alone, and it's about as comfortable as you can be in a giant cemetery. This necropolis is in a large ring that is covered by I would say, neck-high wall that has continuing iron rod fencing above it. As you walk in, you see tombstone after tombstone, mausoleum after mausoleum, and you just get the feeling of an uncomfortable feeling that's inherent for walking into a graveyard at any time. So I know you guys are more or less tracking. So what I need from you is either a track or a spot and hidden roll.
Spot hidden it is. No.
31 is a success.
Oh,
spot hit.
Okay. All right, so you continue. Elaine, what did you roll?
I just a failure.
Okay. All right. So, Eugene, you get on a set of tracks. Eventually, you come to a mausoleum, and above it, in bronze, it says McCall. And when you look at this mausoleum, you see tracks leading to and from this particular mausoleum's iron gate. And once you get closer, you see significant wear on the gate.
You see this right away? The wear on the gate? People are, This is strange. Why would there be so much activity?
When is it's then a family name on this mausoleum? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Possibly recently deceased, but even then, that would be, I can't imagine very much foot traffic through here, even to pay respects or something.
While we're talking, I'm going to reach out and grab hold of the gate and try to pull it open to see if it's open, unlocked.
You're more than welcome to.
So,
Boy, I don't know about you. I feel, I have an eerie feeling being here, Sergeant.
it's a little creepy. I don't know how much I like it. Should we go in?
Yes, yeah. Strange feelings aside, we have a job to do.
So push the door open and head on in.
Okay, so, and do you have any, I'm assuming you have some type of light source. So, and also there's light coming in from the rainy day. So inside you see two sarcophagi. They're both unnamed. You see a David and Susan McCall. To the left of you, you see stairs leading down, almost like circular stairs leading down lower. Also, the walls around you This is a very successful family because they're buried with all their children. All their children are line the actual walls. That's why this particular mausoleum seems so thick.
See. So I just to make sure I am not misunderstanding, did you say there were 2 unidentified ones in addition to the others that were
No,
identified?
there's 2 large sarcophagi in the center of the room as you walk in. And then the walls themselves are graves and it's their children. And then
we have a staircase going down.
Correct.
These names sound familiar to you?
Paul, no, I'm not from this area though. Further down?
I don't see why not. Head on down a little further.
Okay. As you guys are walking down the steps, give me a spot hidden.
That is hard.
Nothing.
Hard success here.
Okay. So with a hard success, you are now seeing claw marks all over the stone.
Look at that.
And
do they look fairly fresh? Like kind of.
Some of them, yes.
Tell that maybe.
And obviously, as you continue to step down and look at these claw marks, you come to what your mind sees as a little renovation. These claw marks feed into a hole. There's a hole that's been dug into the side.
Look there. Look at that.
How big of a hole?
Comfortable to fit a person in.
Oh, I don't know about this, Sergeant. This makes me concerned.
I don't know if I like the idea of crawling in there.
Oh no, no, and I wouldn't encourage you to. I think this is worth bringing to the others. I don't want to cause injury to myself or you, and I don't know. What do you think? I hate to leave the trail as it is here, but I am concerned for our welfare at the same time.
I agree. I'm gonna just take I have a lighter and I'm gonna shine it into the hole a little bit just to see what we can see just on the inside right there, and then yeah.
Okay. So you shine your light into the hole, and it goes deep. You see it jet out straight in front of you at a decline, and then it turns off to the right. As you continuously look with your lighter to see closer towards the entrance that you're standing at right now, you also see what seem to be bones.
What kind of bones? Can we tell?
Not from that distance.
Are they fresh, Sergeant?
Yeah, are they? Can we tell from this distance?
All you have to do is walk in.
Yeah, I'll take a step in and grab a bone, take a peek at it, kind of sniff it a little.
Okay. You kind of boost yourself up and you lean in, kind of balancing so you don't slide down this hole to grab a bone.
I'm kind of holding on to him.
Yeah, so you're holding on to him. You grab the bone, and you have two realizations. One, this bone definitely looks human. It doesn't look fresh. It just looks old. And you also see two red eyes just off the corner. And that's where we're in tonight.
Of course.
Need me to make a new character real quick?
I don't know.
Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Nathan Decker, Holly Buto, Chance Wooten, and myself, with Joseph Clay as the Keeper of Arcane Lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.